March 2024. Deep under the icy North Atlantic, a British nuclear submarine, HMS Vengeance, sets all the records in the book. A total of 201 days underwater, nearly 7 months. No sunlight, no fresh air, no solid ground. 130 people in a steel tube, less room than your bedroom closet, food that began as 15,000 pounds of canned food, and air they were creating on their own using seawater. How do they manage to keep alive? How do they sleep? How do they eat? How do they not go crazy? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. 201 Days Beneath the Waves. I want to give you 201 days perspective. That's almost 7 months without breathing fresh air. The ship's crew, HMS Vengeance, didn't see the sun, they didn't feel the wind. No dirt, grass, or concrete. For longer than many people keep a New Year's resolution, they lived inside a pressurized steel cylinder, surrounded by endless ocean. The average patrol duration for most submarines is 90 to 120 days. That's the standard. 3 to 4 months and finished. But HMS Vengeance? They nearly doubled it. The nuclear reactor can operate for 25 years without fueling. The oxygen generators? As long as there's seawater and electricity. The real limit is food. So, when you've got the last can of ham and a handful of cake mix, you'll know it's time to call it a night. Chapter 2. Sleeping in a refrigerator. Let's now discuss where these sailors sleep. The bunks are 74 inches long, 25 inches wide, and have 18 inches of headspace. That's about as roomy as lying inside a large refrigerator. You can't sit up. It's barely possible to turn over. A box, a cloth, and a coffin. However, it gets harsh once you get to the part that's key. The Virginia class of submarines, such as the USS Missouri, has 135 crew members and just 94 bunks. That is, 40 sailors do not even have their own bed. They engage in something known as hot bunking. Picture this. You have completed your 6-hour watch change. You're exhausted. You go to your bunk. Although it's still hot, the sailor was sleeping in it mere minutes ago. The body heat of the sheets has not yet been dispersed. You get into a bed that was left by someone else. You do this for months. The bunks are piled on each other 3 layers high. There is a curtain to offer privacy for each. The one personal space these sailors have throughout their deployment is behind that curtain. They have a briefcase-sized locker that contains all their belongings. Letters from home, family photos, perhaps an e-reader containing downloaded films. That's it. Chapter 3. The 18-hour day that broke people. This is one thing that will confuse you. Old-school submarines take 18 hours to operate, not 24. 18. 3 6-hour shifts. You're working for 6 hours. If you do that, you'll have 12 hours for maintenance, training, eating, and sleeping. Sounds fine, right? Unless you have a 24-hour body. When you're underwater with no sunlight, your body's clock goes mad. The Navy eventually realized that this is the problem. A big one. These sailors were suffering from sleep deprivation, so it was changed to 8 hours on and 16 hours off duty. Now the crews are on for 4 hours, and then off for 8 hours, and on for 8 hours, and off for 8 hours. It's complicated, but it works better. Now the weird thing is, expert divers claim that they sleep better underwater than on land. The persistent vibration of machinery, occasional sonar ping, and the soft rocking of the ship. It turns into a lullaby. They connect those sounds to safety in their brain. When veterans return home, they can't sleep because it is too quiet. Chapter 4. 15,000 pounds of food. When a submarine leaves port, they carry about 15,000 pounds of food. That's 160 pounds for each member of the patrol. Imagine 3 full-size pickup trucks loaded with food. All right, now the weird part. There's not enough space for food to be stored anywhere. I mean, all over the place. For the first few weeks, the sailors literally walk on top of canned goods. They sleep on food boxes that are covered with cardboard. Shower stalls become mobile food banks. It's sort of like an edible countdown calendar. As the mission goes on and the food in your bunk is used up, the road to your bunk begins to open. Fresh food is valued like gold. Fruit, vegetables, milk, bread. Fortunately, they can persist for a couple of weeks at most. After that, for the rest of the month and a half, it's all canned, dried, and frozen. However, undersea cooks work miracles. They are regarded as the top of the class in the Navy. They have a galley that is smaller than most home kitchens, but they serve more persons than many restaurants serve in a day. No fire or open flames are permitted. Convection ovens, induction cookers, and pressure-controlled deep fryers are all the focus. Here's the info that tells you all you need to know. More than 1,000 pounds of coffee fit on each Virginia-class submarine. These are sailors who rely on their caffeine for that crucial time when they're on watch. Chapter 5. 4 meals a day. Submarines serve 4 meals a day: midnight feeding, lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Midnight rations is not just a snack, it's a full meal. The night shift requires proper fuel as all the other shifts. The Navy alternates the meal schedule every couple of days to prevent certain shift workers from having to eat the same type of meal all day long. Now think what it would be like if breakfast was the thing the night shift had to have at midnight, or if the evening crew always prepared breakfast, or if the night crew always washed the dishes. This rotation is easy to implement and helps maintain everyone's positivity. At sea, the Navy is known for its submarines, and their food is renowned. Ice cream is regularly supplied. Desserts are standard. Special occasion meals are on par with the best-in-town restaurants. The way the Navy expresses it, you're sacrificing in extraordinary ways. You're owed a treatment that is extraordinary. Chapter 6. Breathing what you make. Now, the mind-blowing part. In modern nuclear submarines, a process called electrolysis is used to literally separate the water in the sea into hydrogen and oxygen. They pass high electrical currents through advanced cells made of membranes, split the water molecules, release the hydrogen gas overboard, and store the oxygen gas for the crew to breathe. The numbers are astounding. Adults use approximately 600 liters of oxygen a day. Times that by 130 crew members. The daily requirement of oxygen is 78,000 liters per day. This can even be continuously generated on the submarine using its oxygen generators as long as it is powered on and has seawater. They are both unlimited on a nuclear sub. However, that's only 50% of the battle. Chapter 7. Making fresh water from salt water. Also, the crew requires fresh water: drinking, cooking, and hygiene. They are completely surrounded by water that would prove deadly to them if they drank it. The answer is a distillation plant. It evaporates seawater and condenses the steam out, leaving behind the salt. The amount of fresh water that these systems can provide ranges from 10,000 gallons per day to 40,000 gallons per day. This is sufficient for a small town. Most of the water is used to cool electronic equipment inside the submarine. There's much more for the crew, though. Unlimited fresh water. Unlimited oxygen. These submarines can operate without any assistance. They're like space stations underwater, forming an atmosphere of their own as they fly through one of the most harsh environments in the world. Chapter 8. The poison scrubbed out of the air. Here's a thing that no one considers. Carbon dioxide is exhaled by the crew. Each time you exhale, you are adding poison to the air. The more CO2, the higher the toxicity of the air. Headaches, dizziness, eventually, death. Chemical scrubbers are used in submarines to deal with this. They use compounds called soda lime, a mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. These chemicals actually chemically react with the carbon dioxide molecules from the air and make them safe. Mass spectrometry and infrared technology are also employed in the development of atmospheric monitoring systems that are found in modern submarines. They're always looking for oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and even minute quantities of chemicals such as refrigerants and solvents. The crew is able to tell immediately if anything goes wrong with their air supply. These systems have confirmed a reliability of 99% and more than 5 million hours of operation. It's reliability that makes your home appliances feel enraged. Chapter 9. The toilet that sank a submarine. Allow me to tell you a story that seems like a hoax but isn't. April 14, 1945. German submarine U-1206, just 24 days prior to the end of WW2. This sub used a new high-pressure toilet system which enabled waste disposal under deep water. The system was extremely complex and was to be operated only by specially trained technicians. But Captain Karl Adolf Schlitt wanted to use the new toilet himself. He wasn't properly trained. He was unable to determine the order of the valves. He sent for an engineer. In the chaos, they used the wrong valve. The toilet room was flooded with seawater and sewage. The water made contact with the submarine's batteries, which produced chlorine gas, a deadly poison that had the potential of killing the entire crew. There was only one way for Schlitt to act: come up from the surface in the daylight to breathe the poisonous air, despite being in British-patrolled waters. When they emerged, the British planes pounced on them. The loss of life in the incident was one crew member. The sub was totally wrecked. Schlitt had the crew abandon ship and he scuttled U-1206. The captain and 46 survivors were taken prisoner. It was all due to a toilet. The modern systems in submarines now have several safety features. They're so drilled with training as a crew that this is an event that should never happen again. It has been a reminder though, and the story lives on every system on a submarine is important, even the bathroom. Chapter 10. The Unwritten Rules. High-tech is not the key to making life at sea work, it's the culture. The first rule: no politics. Talking about contentious political issues in a place where residents live in less than 130 square yards or just a few feet away from each other might end up tearing apart the family, if not the whole community. So submarine sailors don't do it. Their attention is on the mission, their crew members, and returning safely. Second rule is noise discipline. The shift rotations mean that someone is always asleep. No slamming doors. No talking during sleep times in sleeping areas. No unnecessary noise. This becomes second nature in a few weeks of being underwater. Third rule: personal space awareness. Inside the corridors, they are so cramped that sailors tend to learn how to walk through each other. They begin to dodge, bend, and step around without continual bumps. Rule number 4. Shower etiquette. Water is precious. Although the submarine itself is capable of making its own, this will result in quieter pumps and better stealth. The majority of sailors keep showers to a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes. Get wet. Turn off the water. Soap up. Restore water supply. Rinse off quickly. The most significant is mutual respect, however. All on that submarine have to make the same sacrifices, encounter the same difficulties. This establishes a bond between brothers that is hard to come by elsewhere in the military. Chapter 11. A submariner's life. No one is ever forced to use a submarine, and only 1% of Navy sailors have their jobs on submarines. New crew members are called non-quals until they earn their submarine warfare qualification. The coveted dolphin's pin is what identifies them as a true submariner. The process of qualification is rigorous. Sailors have to know all the systems on board the submarine, know the procedures for various emergencies, show them how to deal with any eventuality. They are tested by the experienced crew members who are not satisfied with anything less than perfection. The dolphin's pin is more than a piece of jewelry. It's a symbol that you have made it into one of the most prestigious communities in the military. On a submarine, the life of the sailor depends on the ship's company. Once you've achieved your dolphins, you've shown that you are worthy of their trust. This brotherhood is not a matter of when you're on duty. Submarine veterans have lifelong ties. They experience things civilians do not, and have challenges that are more powerful than familial bonds. Chapter 12. The Unsung Heroes. The men and women who serve on submarines make a very special choice to give up what most of us would consider to be a normal life. Sunlight, fresh air, personal space, privacy, close contact with others. All to keep watch at sea and defend our liberty. They do it for long periods of time in circumstances that would make even the strongest among us sweat. Sleeping in areas smaller than closets. Feeding in kitchens smaller than most bathrooms. Breathing artificially created air. Drinking water from the sea that surrounded them. They don't just survive, though. They excel. They possess the highest level of military technology on Earth. They perform complicated tasks with great accuracy and without error. And they return home ready to do it all again. When you next see our flag flying free, think of all the submarines, sailors, and crew members that never look on the horizon, but who keep a portion of that freedom afloat in the depths where we cannot. These are America's silent warriors. And they are deserving of our deepest respect. If this trip to the bottom of the sea inspired you to appreciate our submarine forces more, click that like button. These are the stories of heroes that deserve the telling, and your support makes it possible for them to reach the audience they deserve. And leave a comment below, would you be able to live for 201 days underwater? Stay proud, stay informed. Especially remember the heroic men and women who protect our freedom below the sea.